Hello, everybody. This is Danny from AFGE Local 1133. I'm here with President John Hatzel. Right now, we are working on some technicalities, some technical issues where, for some reason, our stream is not being shared on our Facebook. It could be shared on mine, my personal one, and John's personal one, and John's personal one, and we're having some issues trying to share this in our main AFGE. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So please bear with us for a minute so we can get all of this fixed and be available for everybody to join the stream. So just bear with us a few minutes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, it gave them two options, Danny. It gave them a going to the YouTube page or either the Zoom meeting. I think I don't. Well, that's why, yeah, the link restriction on the AFG page, or normally I could post whatever I want on there. It's not an issue. Okay. Hmm.
All right, everyone. We should have a few people that are connected at the moment. I see that we've got 3 people joined in our streaming. So thank you for those who are here. If you can please send us a message to let us know that you're here. And we're waiting for a couple more people to join us so we can get started. In the meantime, for those who are here, if you would want to share any questions that you may have, we'll take them into consideration for when we go over to the Q&A portion of the town hall. I think we are streaming right now on several venues. We've got my personal Facebook, John's personal Facebook. We've got YouTube, and as many as we have right now. So, John, do you want to wait a little bit longer, or do you want to get started? We have 4 people connected right now.
Dave, let's give it a couple of minutes, okay? Because, and I mean, people can always join in. We're certainly going to let people know how to get a hold of us and that we're available. I will say this while we're waiting, a lot of people may not know Danny, and I don't know if you can put any of this stuff up or put it in the chat, but first, let me make a statement. We're alive and well. Your union has gone nowhere. We're there representing you. About a week ago Sunday, about the contract and what was happening, about the employees getting the letter, about the union, and what's transpired since then, which is a lot, right? And we only have X amount of hour today to discuss this and take some questions. So what I'm saying is we're available. And I'm going to make an announcement tonight about a big announcement about our AFG Local 1133's return to the agency. We'll talk a little bit about that and what that looks like tonight. But I want people to know, Danny, that we're still in the office and we're soon to be offices, that they can still reach us via our email and our phone number in the office, and that also, as you mentioned, that our locals represented on a lot of social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and other platforms, and Instagram, whatever. Probably that's probably not even right anymore, but whatever it is. But I do know YouTube and I do know Facebook, and we have a large presence on both of those, including with Danny's channel, Rights Watch. And if you, this is a good time to plug your channel, Danny, while we're waiting for a few minutes. If you guys are not looking at Rights Watch, brothers and sisters, please go to YouTube, look up Danny Rivera, Danny, while we're waiting for a few minutes. If you guys do look up Danny Rivera Jr.
You were cutting off for a second there.
Oh, is I gone?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, it's getting ready to storm here, so I'm hoping we're in a storm.
It's
Because I
4:55.
don't want to hold up people. Their time is valuable, and people can join us. I don't know if it's being recorded or not.
Yes,
Danny
it
could tell
should
you.
be after we're done.
All right. If for somehow you lose me, Danny, because of the storm or connection here, you keep it going because you know what to tell the people.
Okay.
You're as plugged in as I am. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started, brothers and sisters. Thank those of you that have joined us. I'm gonna talk to you for a few minutes about some things, and then I'm willing to entertain any questions. I'm not looking at the questions right now while I tell you about what's going on. So I'm gonna have Danny keep an eye, and certainly, Danny, feel free to jump in if there's something that you want to say or expound on.
Yes, just for those, if you're leaving images on Facebook, it might get lost because we have different Facebook channels where we're streaming right now.
All right, thanks, Danny. All right, brothers and sisters, it was urgent that I meet with you in the town hall tonight. As most of you know, or some of you know, our union meeting was canceled this month. That was not John Hetzel's choice or the local. We were told we weren't allowed to be there because of this administration's executive order. And it was abrupt. It was the day before the meeting, so we really didn't have time to um, make other arrangements. So we felt like it couldn't wait until the first week of September for me to address this. I did send out a blast to Broad Stripes, and I'm going to talk about that tonight with a letter kind of dismiss video on this again, an hour's worth, right? That's on the Rights Watch YouTube video about what happened here. But let's talk first and foremost about the letter that you received as employees in the agency, notifying you about a change in your bargaining unit. It just said, "Dear employee," a copy of the letter. And I can tell you this, and this might be the only nice thing I say tonight about our current agency. Um, that is that Director Ginsburg did have a town or a fireside chat, kind of a town hall Thursday, and she made it clear that the union was still present. But I'm going to say this: this is a form letter. Okay, this letter went out to every VA employee that was in the bargaining unit, except those that were exempt, and there was only three personnel. That's it. Other than that, everybody else that was covered under the collective bargaining agreement was told that they were no longer covered by that. I mentioned about the dear employee because it's very impersonal, and they're great at that. Okay. And some people said, some people in my own camp have said, well, John, Ginsburg didn't write that letter. She's just passing it on. You know what I say? I say she put her name on the bottom of it. She signed it, and just like anything anybody signs, you say, "I'm supporting this. This is my message." All right, so I don't want to focus on this too much, right? Blah blah blah. You guys are exempt. They changed your status, and you're not under the contract at the moment. And I'm going to say that at this moment, okay? And we'll talk about that. But here's where my real problem with this letter comes into play, right? And that's where it talks about this announcement begins a new chapter that eliminates barriers and increases world-class care and services to our veterans. Uh, Terminating the collective bargaining agreement will benefit employees like you who were previously covered by agreements that restricted the VA's ability to hire, promote, reward, hold poor performers accountable, and implemented changes that better serve the veterans. So, what are they saying there? They're basically saying your union was somehow an impediment to the veteran. I have no idea, but that is completely untrue, brothers and sisters. That is a false statement that the VA is perpetrating to each of its employees. It goes on to say that their decision to stop the collective bargaining also permits employees and managers to more freely engage in open communication to improve the organization without union filtering or interference. I didn't make this up. That's actually an unfair labor practice, that statement right there, brothers and sisters, because it discourages people from being a member of the union. That's a violation of federal law. And we're going to talk about what AFGE is doing about these things tonight. But I'm pointing out to you inaccuracies in this letter that you received from your director. Okay. So the union has been interfering and filtering uh, uh, employees' rights. And they want you to trust the people that actually don't have your best interest at hand. And I think most employees would say the agency doesn't necessarily have your personal best interest at hand. Okay. It goes on to say, right? Things that were previously contained in the collective bargaining agreement. And everybody needs to understand that is an extensive document, 308 pages. It governs everything about how we do work. Okay. So you say, well, what does that mean, John? We don't have a contract. Where do the rules come from? And again, I repeat, we don't have a contract right now. And I'm going to tell you all what that means. Okay. But what rules do we follow now? Well, we follow VA rules, VA policy and procedure, and what it says about promotions, alternative work schedules, how you use your leave. Okay, that part of the letter was true. There was two parts of the letter that were true and factual. Number one was that some people are currently not covered by the collective bargaining agreement. And we're going to talk about what that means. But the second is they're going to use VA policy and procedure on, we hope, on how they are going to deal with you. Okay. Now they also, some people got excited because we got emails. They changed your code, your SF50, to indicate you are not in the bargaining unit right now. Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that. And the hang on one second, guys. Kathy, please stop. Stop. The other thing is, it goes on the letter to tell you you're encouraged to discuss all your issues with your supervisors in the workplace now. They're going to hold hands with you and sing Kumbaya. If anybody believes that, I've got some swampland to sell you in Alligator Alcatraz Alley right now. Okay. And then, of course, we thank you for your service. We have stripped you, most of you, of your rights under collective bargaining, dear employee, not dear Danny or union is bad, union interfered, union is out, pesky union, bye bye, and we're gonna help you. Now, let me just tell you guys, that's a fallacy. It's a fairy tale. That's untrue. Okay? And I'm here to tell you tonight, this afternoon, the union has not gone anywhere. That is complete untruth. And I know, brothers and sisters, even though I don't work in that agency right now, I know what's happening. I know you have managers going around and service chiefs and other people thunking their chest saying the union is gone in huddles, in meetings, at nurses' stations. I know what's going on in that agency. And they've already been called on that because, again, that is an unfair labor practice. For anyone to insinuate the union has gone anywhere, right, is simply untrue. And to me, it's discouragement from people being participatory with what the union offers and membership and also representation. Okay, and so let's talk a little bit about that because there's a lot of misconceptions. We are fully functional at our Melwood office as we have been for the last decade. Okay, all our contact information is the same as it's always been, our email and our phone number. Okay, I did tell you I was going to have some information for you tonight, and I do, and that is we are now going to have a presence back on station. And you say, but John, in addition to the collective bargaining agreement not applying to some people right now, and I'm going to prove it to you because we are coming back on station. You heard me right. Tomorrow, the union will obtain keys in building 3 to room 3222. That is the office that we held up there previously on station in building 3 on the second floor. So again, the union will be present again in room 3222. Okay. And on station. So don't believe the hype. I just put in the bulletin board in the west entrance. If you guys don't check that, again, there's a resource. We still have our bulletin board. I'm still posting in it. I posted in it yesterday when I was up there to say employees still have rights. Don't believe the hype that we're gone and that the union can't represent you. I've answered the question. If I've answered it once, I've answered 100 times, in the past couple of days. The union has gone nowhere. All right. So please, uh, don't believe that. Now, I don't know how many people saw my response to Director Ginsburg's letter. Well, first, let me say this. Let me back up to say, what does it mean, John, that we're not covered by the collective bargaining agreement? Well, the executive order that President Trump issued in March right, said that all of us somehow were an issue of national security. I don't care what your job is, whether you're a housekeeper or you're a nurse or you're a doctor, your job was secure, had to do with security. It's funny when you got the letter, brothers and sisters, from Director Ginsburg, says nothing about security. It's all about the pesky union interfering, and we're glad they're gone. And please work with us because we love you so much as our employees, right? So that's just not true. And I told you what parts are true. Okay. So you say, well, John, if we're not under the collective bargaining agreement and only the police, no, we only have police, we don't have firefighters and security people at our particular agency in our CBOC. We only have police officers, right? They are still fully covered, believe it or not, brothers and sisters, by the contract. Tell me how that could happen. I have no idea. You need to contact your congressman and tell them when they get back on August 1st or whenever it is, they return from their nice long month vacation. And please don't fuss at Morgan McGar because he's supporting us, but fuss at the rest of them to get this nonsense overturned, that we don't have a collective bargaining agreement. But you must understand, employees, you are still protected. And that's part of the hype that's going out that the union is gone. You are no longer represented and you are not protected. And for the benefit of those of you that did not see what I sent out, we're still here, still fighting for you. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase some of it. I'm not going to read it to you verbatim, but basically it says what I just told you, that employees receive the notice of termination of their collective bargaining rights, and that the interfering union is gone, and it implies somehow that your rights, brothers and sisters, interfered in providing good care and to our veterans and gone. And it implies somehow that your right good care and to our veterans. And that's ridiculous. Um, but to insinuate somehow that the union and your rights as employees were interfering in the veterans getting patient care is ludicrous. I'm a veteran. I get my care at that hospital. I'm also your labor leader. There's nothing further from the truth. Okay. It does impact some of our rights, but it doesn't silence our voice and it does not end the fight. AFG is in the fight. We're in it to win it. Believe that. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. I've told you several times tonight, and I'm going to say it again. One, your union still exists. We are here. We have gone nowhere. Okay. Two, your leadership in the union is still firmly into place. John, Ahmet, Keith, all of you are a little different on how they do that for a majority of employees, and we're going to talk about that briefly tonight. Number three, uh, all of AFG is shifting our strategy to address these most recent challenges and attacks. And they are attacks on your rights, brothers and sisters, and trying to push us backwards in time. Okay, believe me, that contract was not AFGE or the Union Book, as it's referred to. Just look at the front cover and look who signed it. That is a binding agreement that carried the weight of law that was signed by the Department of Veterans Affairs and AFGE, and it was in your protection. And so believe me, when that was harmful, regardless of how Director Ginsburg, Vision Director Goins, or Dougie, Secretary Collins, views it. Okay. Um, Now, you say, John, why should I still be a member of the union if you can't do a grievance for me under the contract if I'm not covered? We still can represent you. Brothers and sisters, you still have appeal rights, and most of these appeal rights are given to you under the law. They still exist. Okay. So for the agency to perpetrate the false and the lie that sow the seeds of chaos and tell lies that you are not represented anymore is a complete falsehood. So you say, John, how are we represented? You can be represented by the union in things like the agency administrative grievance procedure, okay, which is covered by VA policy, similar to our grievance procedure in the contract, but not the same. I would familiarize yourself with that. Okay. We also have a right to represent at the Merit System Protection Board, MSPB. Okay, for certain cases. Now, all these avenues that I'm giving you today and that I've sent out and that are posted, right, don't necessarily fit every situation, but I'm giving you areas where you are still protected, right, by statute, by law, by policy, and that you can still be represented. And I'm going to tell you how. Okay. In addition to the agency grievance process, MSPB, we have the EEOC. If you feel like you have been discriminated against for a protected status or class, you have a right to have a representative in the EEOC. Workman's comp, not only workman's comp, but in all health and safety issues that are governed by the law, not only federal law, but also state rules and regulations, OSHA, things like that. Any health and safety, you have the right to be represented. And one of the biggest ones, brothers and sisters, you still have the right to be represented uh, for unfair violations of federal law. Okay, unfair labor practices. And there's positives and negatives about all of these processes that we just talked about. I don't have the time tonight to go into what the benefits of each one are, or how you qualify, or what. I'm just here tonight to tell you these are ways that your union can assist you in fighting the agency right now. Okay, so again, don't believe the hype, believe the truth, and I'm telling you the truth. Okay, um, we plan to do this, do these things, represent, and more. Okay, it's not business as usual. We're going to need to adjust how we do things. But right now, more than ever, what we need is your support. We do not need people jumping ship right now, believing their union is not here and their union can do nothing for them. There's nothing further from the truth. And I said earlier about sowing the seeds of chaos, right? They're trying to confuse the masses, right? So people will get out and weaken the union. Okay, brothers and sisters, they've attacked us on the dues deduction. You know, everybody knows we lost membership at the local and the national level because they stopped taking dues out of the paycheck. That's the first step. Second step is for Dougie and his cronies to say, and the administration to say, you don't have rights anymore. Employees, sorry. Seniority, things like that don't apply to you anymore. Sorry. You know, and you need to think about that. You should be angry. I'm angry. You should be angry as employees, right? That you have been stripped of rights. But we're going to push back and we're going to win. I'm going to tell you that. Okay, that contract is coming back. Now I'm never going to lie to you. I haven't lied to you. I'm not going to start lying to you, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if it'll be an hour, a day, a week, a month, or a year, but that contract is coming back, and I can tell you what we're doing to ensure that that happens. But until we can restore our full rights, right, there's some things that you can do to help. You already started today because you're on this call. You're on this town hall. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna give you some good advice. Happens to
You don't have any audio at the moment.
be yes.
Okay, now you do.
All right. Uh, be online at the union meetings because they're not going to happen at the hospital anymore. They're going to be the first Thursday of every month, but they'll be online. You will get Broad Stripes message and it'll be on our social media. If you're not getting right, your email. So when we're doing these blasts of information, you're getting them. Okay. Stay connected. Make sure, like I just said, we have your personal contact information, not your VA email. Okay, and try not to send us stuff from there. You don't want the agency knowing what you're saying to the union and what your info is. Okay, join or renew your membership. And if you're not on e-dues, you need to do that. Numbers matter more than ever right now. Brothers and sisters, united we stand, divided we fall. That may be cliche, but it is true. We are stronger in numbers. Okay, please participate, like I said, in the meetings, sign petitions when AFGE is sending it to you. Stay ready for action. There's rallies going to go on all over, maybe a rally here in Louisville after Labor Day. Keep your eyes and ears open, but we're definitely going to be active. Okay, participate and stay ready to act. Okay. Don't be an ostrich and put your head in the sand. Okay. Till you have nothing. Okay. You must be active. Educate yourself. Okay. You're doing that right now, but go to our website, gather the information you can, go to afge.org, our parent website. You're going to get a ton of information. Educate yourself on rights. And I'm going to say, start looking at VA policy. It's a ridiculous, massive amount of bureaucracy is the only, I'm going to say bureaucracy because I don't want to say BS. Okay.
Change
Free every
their
day
policies.
because
Oh, there we go. All right, John. Sorry that we couldn't
that,
hear you for about 30 seconds there.
okay. What was the last thing you got, Danny?
Look at the policy, VA policy.
Yeah, check the policies and know how you're going to take leave right now, and they're going to discipline you in that. And contact your reps with questions, right? We're still here every day in our Melwood office, and we'll be multiple days, probably a week, up there in Building 3. So let's talk about what's happening. What is AFG doing at a national level? And that I can tell you this: AFGE and the National VA Council have filed litigation on this illegal action that the administration has taken against Veterans Administration employees, 350,000 of them, brothers and sisters. So there have been lawsuits filed. So what is the hope? The hope is the judge is going to step in and give us a stay or an injunction and say, this will stop, and the contract falls back into place until it's decided in court. I can't predict the future, but I'm telling you, this is an illegal action. They've tried this stuff before. It's putting us out, shutting the union down. It was overturned at their cost, and it will be overturned again. Again, I can't tell you when, right? But know that they're fighting against that, and I don't think I said earlier, right? Your representatives that were on official time working for the union have all been ordered back to work, in addition to them saying the contract doesn't apply to a majority of you. So what we're having to do is represent you in a different way. We have to represent you in these processes I just said, as personal reps, right? That happen to come from AFG, happen to be very educated and have a ton of experience, decades of working these kind of appeals and systems. So again, don't believe the hype. Okay. I also want to say this, and I mentioned this to Danny earlier. What's my time looking like, Danny?
You
It's
got
23 after.
7 minutes till
Okay.
5:30.
Okay. I do want to say this too, guys, because we tell this in NEO and this isn't a secret, right? There are lawyers that work in AFGE. There are lawyers that work in a lawyer that works in our district. There is lawyers that work at the national, at Women's and Fair Practice that are experienced with the EEOC and that, and also at the National VA Council. Now, as members, you have a right to appeal to those lawyers to represent you in a numerous amount of appeal rights we have here. That's important about keeping a membership because if it has to go outside of the agency, right, you can still be represented by these individuals, including lawyers. It does not guarantee you a lawyer. Brothers and sisters, hear me clearly. There's a process for submitting and saying, can you take a case? Some of them only do back pay cases. Some of them only do EEO cases. So it depends on what the complaint is. But please know it's not just the locals still fighting. You've got attorneys at district and national levels that are also fighting uh, for your rights until we get this contract back. And again, I can't tell you if it'll be an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, but it is coming back. And when it does, you don't want to be on the other side of the fence and not be a member. And you also don't want to give up your rights to the benefits which everybody loves, including the life insurance and the short-term disability. If you don't know about those, call Ahmed, call Danny, call me, call anybody in the office. We'll talk to you about those. You should be signed up for them. They'll pay for your dues, you know, the first time you use them. But please, brothers and sisters, the answer is not jump ship now. The union's not here. The union can't do anything for you. We're here. We're fighting for your voice at work. We're fighting for fair treatment for you and for that contract that they say doesn't exist, that legal binding document that carries the weight of law that they're claiming doesn't exist. Let's stay united. Let's stay united in this moment. We're always more powerful as a collective. I've been saying it's in our bulletin board. You're going to see it. You're going to hear it. Don't buy the hype. We're still here. We're still AFG Local 1133, and we are still representing your rights. And the last thing I want to say, brothers and sisters, and I haven't spoken much about this, haven't heard it much. AFG has been an entity for 100 years. Um, the first 40 years of AFG's existence, there were no contracts, but they still represented employees and grew to what it is now. How did they do that? In the ways I just told you, in your rights that you still have under the law that they're not telling you about, in addition to the falsehood that the union's gone and can't help you. Okay. So I hope if you take nothing else away from this, and I know I had to be quick, people come around and ask you, please guide them to us. You know, our number and email are widely distributed. They're in the west entrance of the hospital, in our bulletin board, right there. You know, we're everywhere. You know, we're not hard to find. And so, you know, again, I appreciate you guys being here. We will hold a monthly meeting.
You're cutting out again, John.
Okay. Our meetings will, I was just saying, Danny, will be online the first Thursday of every month, starting in September at 4:30, just like they were in E005 or D010. So please, you know, be on that meeting because I'm going to give a lot more information. Okay. I am wide open for any questions that you guys may have. I'll try to answer them to my best ability. If I know the answer, if I don't, I will get back to you. And so,
Um, so if anybody has any questions, please post them over in our YouTube. I see we have 11 people logged in right now over in YouTube. So please, if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them so we can have President Hatzel here answer them for you. John,
well, go ahead, Danny.
if I may say something to our members and to everybody that's watching, I just want to say thank you for those who have seen. I know a lot of people are used to seeing me in the union, and I know a lot of people typically want to stop me in the hallways and talk about their issues, and I'm always, if I refer you out to the office at this very moment, um, I cannot work as a union representative while I'm on duty. What that means is if you see me in a nursing uniform, I'm working as a nurse at the moment. I cannot talk about anything union related. Same goes with Ahmed. I know a lot of people are used to seeing us both at the agency, and you know, I love every single one of you. Just know that if I refer you out to the office, it's because at this very moment it's very difficult to address your concerns while working. Plus, the agency can always come back and say that we're working on union business, and we're not allowed to do that on government's time. So I just wanted to address that and let people know. Um, I also wanted to say that if you remember, please, now it's more important now than ever to keep your membership. And I'll just say this while we get any question. Um, Please just consider this for all of our members. Right now, you have a team that is your last resort. The union is your last resort. We are the last people that are going to protect your rights. If we do not make sure that we keep our union running, if we do not support our union, how do you expect to keep your rights? We're going to see it. John was talking about the policies earlier and the agency policies. Agency policies, a lot of them have had to be drafted according to the master agreement. We're already receiving word that agencies are starting to get ready to change their policies. What that means is your leave, it's gonna change. You're no longer gonna be able to um, ask for your leave the same way that you used to. It means that probably seniority might not be a factor. It'll mean a whole bunch of different things that that we used to have, and until we get our contract back, until we get it back, the agency is going to try to change all these things. And trust me when I say, and I always tell people, do not take your rights for granted. And right now, you're going to start seeing changes and the best way to make sure that we get our rights back is by keeping your membership active. It is the only way. You might think, "Oh, I'm only one person." No, you're one membership. Your one membership helps us keep the fight. I am a rep. Right now, I'm working on my off time. I know John basically works 24 hours, and and we're you're going to see that some of your stewards we're working on our off time to answer your emails, answer your questions. Um, but not only that, um, we're doing this because we want to make sure that we don't lose all we've had. We've gone through so much to get these rights and we want to keep them and we want to regain what we've lost. And I know we're going to regain it. We just need your help. So stay in it. Don't lose faith. Don't listen to the agency because the agency wants you to lose your rights. And you have to understand that lying is not above anybody during this administration. So please keep that in mind. And especially when it comes to your rights, you have to do the right thing for you, for your family, you have to do the thing that's going to safeguard your job. And right now, the union is your safeguard. So thanks for those who have kept their memberships. And if you're thinking of um, if you've dropped your membership for one reason or another, please reconsider because at this time we are the only people that are working for your best interest. Nobody else. Nobody else. So please keep that in mind all this time while we work through this. And we will get through this and we will get our contract back. So sorry, John. I just wanted to mention that. And
No, that's all right. That's good. I appreciate that, Danny. One thing, if we don't have any questions, I do want to mention, which I think is important, and something that we really did lose out on, right, is your right to have a rep next to you when they question you, like what we call wine garden, right, or fact finding. That's tied to the contract and to you being in the bargaining unit. So right now, right, if management wants to question you, calls you in the office, probably everybody's first initial reaction is, I want a union rep. It still needs to be that. Okay. But what you need to say is, I'm invoking my rights under the statute. I want a representative. Make them tell you no, you can't have one. You still need to ask for one. Okay. And they're going to probably tell you no, you don't have the right because the contract's not here and the union can't come represent you. So then what you do is you don't get up and walk out or refuse to answer the questions because otherwise they're going to charge you with something else. So what you want to do is you want to tell them, okay, if you're not providing me with a rep, I'm going to answer the questions to not be insubordinate, but I'm doing so under duress because you won't give me my rights. and then answer the questions. And the advice is the same as if we're sitting there next to you, and that is the KISS principle. Keep it simple, silly, right? Just answer yes, no, or I don't recall. And you know, when they get that nice little part at the end of the questioning, when they say, is there anything else you'd like to say? And normally the union rep will tell you, no, do not say anything. Now I'm telling you to say something. Say, I asked for a rep, you denied me my rights under the statute, and I want it noted in this, because we need that, guys, for this litigation and for that kind of stuff. So if they're going to deny you certain things, then you let them know you're not happy about it. Okay. And again, the ones you can really let know you're unhappy about, the contract aspect and your status as bargaining unit, is who? Your Congress people. Because there's actually legislation, and I'm not going to go into it tonight because we got a limited amount of time, but call your Congress people and let them know that you are 100% in favor of having full bargaining rights restored to all VA employees, 350,000 of them. Have your neighbors call, your mama call, your granny call, your dog, cat call. I don't care who calls. Have the whole block call. But tell them when they get back off their fat rears, laying around on vacation for a month, that they're slowly stripping your rights away from you and you're not going to tolerate it. That's how change happens, brothers and sisters. And going out and peacefully protesting when we have these protests and that, we're going to be on station. Like I said, you're going to see things happening. Employees will, one of the big questions is, John, when you have the office at Melwood, and when you have the new office up there at the agency, can employees still come see the union? The answer is yes, you can. But what changes is this, and it's very important. You cannot come on duty time. So what does that mean? You come before duty work, after work, or at lunch, not at your breaks. Okay. And if somebody's not in the office, we can be in the office on station if you just let us know. Okay. But the only things that change about coming to see us is when you can do it, not during duty time. Okay. You're gonna hear after Labor Day, we're gonna have some events up in that new office. That's for everybody. That's for all of you. Again, the majority of you have to come before or after duty or during your lunch period. We'll still have a piece of pizza for you or a soda or some chips. And it's the same union. Okay. But temporarily, we're just doing business a little bit different. And that's because they're forcing us to, brothers and sisters. So anytime you can show your discontent, and I know you can't a lot because you still work for for that godforsaken agency, and the government. I don't, thank goodness, but I'm here for you to say those things that you can't say and do those things you can't do. Believe that. Believe that. We have any questions, Danny?
No, it looks like we do not.
Okay.
Nope.
And again, I'm going to tell you guys, we're not hiding from anybody. Please call the office if you have questions, what we can do, what we can't do, what you can do, what you can't do. Again, bone up, educate yourself on these VA policies, especially the leave policy and uh, discipline. Okay. And it doesn't mean, like Danny said, that they're not going to change it, because they're going to try to do whatever they can to erode that. Believe me, including lying. They've already demonstrated that in the letter, right? And also the reasoning why you can't be in the bargaining unit. That's higher than our hospital. That's up into the upper echelon, saying it's a security risk. Oh, no, it's not that. Now it's the pesky union. Come on. Nobody's buying that. And I'm surprised that people would even really give it credence and listen to it, because I'll tell you a fairy story about the three bears and Goldilocks and all the rest of it, because it gets about the same weight. Okay. Um, Brothers and sisters, we are not done in this fight. I promise you, we're here. We have gone nowhere. Help us dispel that myth. Don't spend your time at work running around talking about the union. However, when you're at your lunch before, after work, if people ask the question, why should I be in the union? The union's not here. Union can't do anything for me. First thing I ask them is, who told you that? Oh, the agency? Yeah, you should believe them. Not the fact that we're physically here and still working and you're protected. Believe them. They got your best interest at heart. Not believe that. Okay. So we're available every day, guys. Somebody is in the office at Melwood, a man in the phone and the emails every day. If you can't reach us, it's trying times, so we might be on another line or working with a client because, like Danny said, all our official time people are back at work. But I can promise you, there's somebody in that office every day to answer your call or your email. If it doesn't, call back, email back, and I guarantee you I'll see it, at a point and follow up with you. But we are here. We are working. We'll have a more, hopefully, maybe more regular schedule in 3222 in Building 3, the office we're opening back up there. But brothers and sisters, if it is as the agency has told you and the union is gone, we're obsolete, we're no longer needed, we're not representing. Why are they giving us an office in Building 3? Why am I getting a key tomorrow to an office for the union? I say again, for the union, 1133. If we don't exist, answer that question. I'm not a ghost hunter or, a conspiracy theorist, but I think a common person could put together that the union hasn't gone anywhere. What has happened is it's changed right now, the way that we represent you and deal with the agency. Does it stop your representation? No. Do your benefits go away? No. Has your union gone and not there for you? No. The answer to all of those is a resounding no. Okay, then please pass that word if you can't do anything else. But I need you to call your Congress people. I need you to come out to the rallies. I need you to come up and see us the week after Labor Day in the new office, 3222 in Building 3. Or come down to Melwood if you're off duty or, it's kind of hard to get down there at lunch. I get that. So that's why we're going to be up in the building. Right outside the building, for you out the back 40. So no surprise they put us out there either in the back 40. They do that on purpose. But if we don't have any questions, Danny, I'm going to thank everybody, for that came on. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being involved. There really ought to be 600 people on here tonight going, what is going on? And why are they telling me these fanciful tales of what's happened to the Union of old? The Union of foregone, the Union of yesteryear. It's all baloney, brothers and sisters. Your union is here. Your union is fighting, and we don't plan on going anywhere. We're going to keep you updated at the meetings on social media. I may try to do one of these town halls once a month or so. Let's see how it works out. We'll get probably more people to join as we go along and people learn about it. But I'll do everything I can to be out there for you and just know I've said it before, I say it again. It might sound kind of corny or cliche. All 1,900 of you are like my kids, man. And that's how I think of you. Not that you're small or haven't grown up or that, but I care. I care what happens to each one of you. You may or may not believe that, but it's true. I'm telling you, the agency doesn't care about you as a person at all. And I've said that for years. But I'm telling you, John Hetzel, your president, and also your union stewards and officers care about you deeply. And we're here for you, in this trying time. And like Danny said, the union really now is the last line of defense, brothers and sisters, in a war. The war going on, the war to strip you of all your rights and make you at will employees. We're hanging on the edge of a precipice for that to happen. And if we don't stand up as organized labor and as one voice and say collectively, we will not tolerate this, we will not accept this, and this will change now, we are going to progress and not digress or regress, brothers and sisters. So I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I mean that. And I'm here to fight as long as my body, my earthly body, holds out and I got breath in my lungs. I will represent you. I'll be here speaking your concerns not only to the agency, to the VISN, to VA nationwide, but also to the Congress and the people that represent you. My mouth will not be silenced, and the locals' mouth will not be silenced. I love you, brothers and sisters, and I will see you guys very soon. And Danny, muchas gracias, my friend, for hosting this, putting it on, getting us up electronically. We couldn't do that without your help. We appreciate you, and certainly look forward to working with you in the future with the meetings and more town halls. And thank you for your input tonight. Really appreciate it, guys. Everybody, I appreciate you guys. I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you very much.